we need to find out from Simon Calder what's been happening in the past couple of days. Not one but two flights have had to turn around to come back to the UK. Going to be finding out, well, what's wrong and what's going on with airline security. Simon Calder, as I live and breathe, good afternoon.
Well, hello. Yeah, I'm talking to you from beautiful Zante in Greece. I'm on this lovely Greek island. It is warm enough. I'm not sinking pints. I've got a very nice Greek coffee here. Thank you, James. But yeah, how immensely frustrating for passengers suddenly to find, there you are, yeah. So this is
right, we're going to try and sort out Simon. The Greek internet is not so great, so we'll come back to Simon in a few moments' time. British Airways passengers forced to endure an 11-hour flight to nowhere, apparently. A Boeing 777-200 aircraft developing a technical issue on Sunday morning. Imagine that you're on your plane and then suddenly it doesn't seem to come back, and then you've got BA 31 from London to Hong Kong, 4 hours into the 12-hour, 45-minute journey, and the decision was made to return to the departure airport. But the question is, well, why is this happening? And indeed, we'll have to find out from Simon whether or not you're able to get your money back. Right, I think Simon is back. So, Simon, we've got these two flights. Sometimes there's a technical issue. Sometimes something else is happening. Is this happening more? Or is it just because these are sort of like long-haul flights and therefore there are a lot of disgruntled passengers and they're all taking to social media, whereas before they never used to be able to?
Yeah, I mean, we are flying pretty much more than we ever have, and so therefore numerically you would get more of these incidents. But just imagine how frustrating. There you are, you're halfway, 1,800 miles, Gatwick to Tenerife, you get 900 miles, and then they say, oh yeah, we're actually going back. And you might just be thinking, well, this is completely mad, because if you can fly 900 miles and you don't have to divert, well, surely let's just keep going. You've got a plane load of passengers to deliver there. You've got another lot waiting for us. And it would just make much more sense rather than burning loads and loads of fuel and getting people back to where they started 4 hours later with no immediate prospect of flying out. However, and this also applies to the British Airways flight to Hong Kong, which got 5 hours into its journey and then just came back. The issue that the airlines face is that they would much rather have their planes on home turf where they've got all the bits to fix it. They've got all the pilots, the cabin crew there, and therefore they feel much more comfortable with that. And yes, it's very frustrating and expensive and annoying, but that's what they do. And yeah, exactly, on social media you can complain about this in a way that people perhaps couldn't do 10 years ago, certainly not 20 years ago.
What are your rights if you are taking a plane, if they decide to turn it back for a technical reason or anything else? What are your rights? I mean, are you able to get your money back? I mean, perhaps you've taken time off work, you haven't been able to, I don't know, go on your holiday. I mean, what can you do?
Oh, look, all these people will, I think, be flown back to Tenerife because EasyJet's biggest base is Gatwick, and there's generally an Airbus sort of sitting around that they can press into service, and some pilots on standby. I very much hope that is the case. So everybody who wants to get there will be able to do so, but it will be about 10, 12 hours later than they had hoped. In that case, obviously the airline has to feed you, give you a decent meal and so on, if that's possible within the confines of a plane and or Gatwick Airport. Secondly, they quite possibly can make a claim for £350 in cash compensation if they say, well, look, we arrived late and it was your fault because of a technical issue. The airline may well turn around and say, this was an unexpected flight safety shortcoming, so you don't qualify. It remains to be seen whether that will happen. And very often with these things, it will sort of almost take a test case to work out if people are entitled to it. But it's a tough old summer. We're seeing loads of cancellations, loads of very long flight delays due to air traffic control holds-ups, bad weather. It's so miserable, James. But the thing is, when you finally get to your destination and you're sitting in a lovely square and you got your coffee and you're watching the world go by, and it's a lovely warm evening. Well, you kind of forget all the difficult bits and get on with enjoying yourself.
Well, you say that, but if you, I mean, in terms of the cost or otherwise, because we've heard many discussions about we're flying more. We've seen low-cost airlines begin to hike up their prices again. There is discussion about fuel prices back on the uptick. Yes, they've been coming down. Yes, inflation's been coming down, but up it goes possibly again. I mean, if people are going away and we're just about to enter into summer holiday season, are there any deals to be had? Are there any cheap flights to be had, or is it simply more expensive than it ever was before?
Both of those are correct, James, because you are the wisest man in the media, and they are both exactly true. Because yes, demand, and we just got some figures from the International Air Transport Association yesterday, basically saying demand is going through the roof, supply is not keeping up. So typically you've probably seen demand up about 11 or 12% over the past year, supply up maybe 8 or 9%. And guess what? You do not need to be the world's greatest economist to realise that there's only one way that fares are going, and that is upwards. However, there are still some gaps, and I've just been checking them out. And if you want to go to France, to the Paris Olympics, James, then it is a real buyer's market. You might think, oh, Paris is going to be absolutely full. It'll be mad. We can't possibly go there. Prices tripling or whatever. Absolute tosh. Going out on the day after the opening ceremony, flying from Manchester, you can pay 25 quid.
Really?
If that's a bit too much, wait a few days and you'll be paying £15.
Wowza. So hang on, so 15 quid could get you to Paris. Have they sold all the tickets? I mean, is it the same situation that, I seem to remember in the build-up to the London Olympics, everybody was kind of sceptical. Then the launch event happened, the opening ceremony happened. Everybody went, oh, hang on a second, this isn't too bad. We'll have a bit of that. And everybody went crackers and loved it. And then, the weather was good. London was presenting well. It was all there. Whereas, meanwhile, the French seem to be just a bit like dragging their heels about it all.
Well, no, look, here's what happens. London was a ghost town for the first week. I was just going around talking to people, restaurateurs, retailers, hoteliers, just saying, where is everybody? And exactly the same thing will happen with Paris. I've actually talked to the Paris tourism people who actually are being really realistic about this. Corinne Sinigo told me that she is expecting there to be a maximum of 70% hotel occupancy in Paris during the games. That compares with 91% last July. So guess what? That the hoteliers who all thought that this was a fantastic get-rich-quick scheme, well, some of them will do because they've flogged it at high rates to media companies or to organisers or whatever. But most of them are looking at their bookings and thinking, what the heck, what am I going to do? And so we're now seeing sub €100 budget rooms in central Paris, and those prices will continue to decline. So I'm going to be going. I'm just not going to book for another week or two because I think prices have some way still to fall.
Oh, Simon, you see the bagging of a fantastic deal and a bargain. It could be time to whip off to cheeky Paris for a few days for a little bit of a Sham Olympics there. Simon, enjoy your time there. Thank you very much indeed for bringing us up to date on those flight delays and what happens and what you can do, and also giving us some thoughts and travel tips as to what may be happening in the holiday market over the summer as we head towards. For example, if you're trying to work out what to do and you've got the kids and you're thinking, maybe a bit of Olympics, 15 quid for a flight to Paris. Yes, please, thank you. That'll do. That'll save you a few quid.